All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Deej Fukan, and I head the marketing at Suke. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce to you Arjun Nagarajan. Arjun is the powerhouse of the company. Arjun is deeply involved in the product innovation. He engages with customers to gather feedback and aligns the product for maximum impact. As the CEO, he makes sure that he has, he handles customers well and employees. He's an amazing person. Love working with him, and he also keeps an eye on the financial health of the business. He has a bachelor's in civil engineering from IIT Guwahati and has worked in the oil field service sector in India, Qatar, and the US. Arjun, I request you to please take over and introduce yourself and Suke to everybody, and also let them know some amazing ways they can manage their trucks efficiently.
Thank you so much, Dheeraj, and thank you all for joining us today. I would like to keep this as interactive as possible and gather feedback. So towards the end, we'll make sure that we have a lot of time for questions. I shouldn't take more than 12 to 14 minutes to just share some of our experiences, right? So there is two of us here from Suke on the call. As Deej mentioned, my name is Arjun. I am the co-founder and CEO. And I have about, prior to starting Suke, which was about 5 years ago, my co-founders and I, we used to work in the upstream oil and gas sectors in different parts of the world, managing operations. And my colleague Dheeraj, who handles marketing for us, has about a decade of experience in digital marketing and outreach. Most of you are from an operational background, right? So you will sympathize with the problem statement in operations that lack of visibility creates very, very expensive inefficiencies, right? So when we started Suke, this is kind of what we wanted to solve for. We wanted to give operations people visibility into their operations so that they can avoid the inefficiencies that are bucketed in operations as low productivity, poor utilization, safety risks, or non-compliance, right? So we wanted to make sure that we are giving people visibility to be able to make the correct decisions on the fly, because we all know, right, operations people make a number of decisions on the fly, right? The solution for this is we have a platform which has a very, very contextual map, right? Map not only provides a location that is very, very detailed. So here you see on your screen a map on the top screen, right? Which is kind of showing position of trucks, position of people, and so on. All this is available on a screen, and we are recording all the location time series data, right? Because we are recording a lot of data, we are able to locate people and assets in real time. And now that we are able to locate people and assets in real time, in case something goes wrong in an operation, we are able to notify the relevant people so that they are able to take proactive action and not, reactive kind of an approach, right? So what we do is we eliminate operational inefficiency by, we eliminate operational inefficiency with real-time visibility and contextual intelligence, right? So these are some of our customers. We started off with Unilever, working with Fiat Chrysler, UPL, Reckitt Benckiser, and many other large organizations. We are also very fortunate to have a lot of strategic partners with whom we partner for outreach, and we integrate into their IoT systems, most notably Microsoft and Tata projects. And now we will get into a little bit of detail about this TITO, right? TITO and what it means, and what is the kind of value we can realize from it. Right? TITO simply means truck in, truck out, right? And this is a particular operational challenge that we see across sectors, right? So we are working with TITO in the logistics sector, we are working with TITO in the manufacturing sector, and so on. Right? Any place which has a lot of trucks entering and leaving a facility, has a problem with detention. They always want to improve their truck turnaround time, but they have no visibility. They would like to improve their dock utilization and utilization of other resources, right? Both people and machinery, right? Like forklifts and so on. But because there is no visibility, there is a lot of inefficiency in just the truck in and truck out process, or gate in and gate out process of a truck. Right? Imagine a large factory, right? If there is a large factory where there are probably 50, 60, 80 truck movements a day, then what happens is becomes very difficult to keep track of, who is just waiting outside. The line at the entrance sometimes gets very long, and so on, right? So, end of the day, what happens is the manufacturer or the logistics provider ends up paying a lot of money in terms of detention charges to the truck vendors, right? And we have deployed TITO at a few places, and we've seen some results, and kind of summarized all of this into our experience and our learning. And this is what we would like to share with you today, that 7 ways in which an organization can optimize by using TITO, right? The first thing, right, I touched upon this very briefly, is waiting time at the gate, right? There are a lot of facilities, where a paper gate pass is created and people have to wait in line. Some data entry is done on a computer, and it is kind of correlated with SAP entry form and all of this stuff. So end of the day, we have actually found that on an average, truck drivers spend about 45 minutes for their entry formalities, right? So how have we solved this, right? We have decentralized the entry process, right? What happens is there is a mobile, all the security guards, instead of just checking the gate pass, they are able to do the entry. They are able to pick up a Bluetooth tag and assign it to the truck driver, so that location gets tracked in real time. They are able to do a security check. Not only do a security check with photographs and video of the truck cabin. And then they are able to do the entry of the truck within 3 to 5 minutes, right? This is compared to the 45 minutes that it used to take before. Now, once there are multiple mobile devices distributed across the security workforce, everyone can do data entry, right? And one person is just required to check whether everyone that is going in has an electronic gate pass or not. So that is one more thing we have done: completely digitize the gate pass in order to make sure that there is reduced paperwork and improved efficiency at the gate. The second important thing that happens and that we try to avoid is overcrowding at the docks, right? We would like to reduce the dock occupancy time as much as possible, because dock is a resource, right? And the workforce that we dedicate to a dock is also a resource. So end of the day, in an ideal situation, what should happen is the truck should come, the loading should happen as quickly and safely as possible, and then the truck should leave. That way, I mean, everybody is happy, right? There is no traffic jams. There are no people not knowing which truck to load, which truck to unload, and so on. So dock occupancy time reduction is one of the things that we are able to do by implementing a location system, right? The third thing, or the third piece that we got to understand, is every facility is different, right? We spoke about one of our customers, right? Unilever. Different factories, even with the same customer, are very, very different, right? What I mean by this is they have different rules. Even within the same factory, different sets of people have different rules, right? For example, for a truck supplier who is getting a very large piece of equipment, let us say a chassis for a car, that person will probably be given a turnaround time of 4 to 6 hours, because it takes long to get equipment, to unload, and so on. But for someone who is coming to drop off a very small component, which does not require a mechanical handling device or something like that, those people are given a window time of only 2 hours. So essentially what happens is, every time you want to set a rule, you want to set an alert that, hey, if this guy spends more than 3 hours, please let us know. If this guy is spending more than 15 minutes in the parking area, let somebody know, right? Somebody who is responsible. So every facility is different, and all these rules you can't keep going to the software vendor to customize every time, right? So everything should be in a very, very configurable manner. In fact, one of our automotive customers is using 200 rules for truck turnaround in a single facility. Right? And the later part, especially if you go to leaders in the supply chain organization, the thing that they are interested is in reports and trends, right? They would like to see how things are moving over time. They might not be interested in seeing how many trucks broke their detention time compliance today, but they might be a lot interested in seeing who are my best vendors, who are my worst vendors, with whom do I have to negotiate detention time or free detention time, with whom do I need to negotiate rate contracts because they are very, very inefficient. So all these reports and trends are available for us to be able to take data-driven decisions, right? Everyone talks about data-driven decisions today, but in order to make these kind of data-driven decisions, we need to have data. And this kind of an IoT real-time location platform is a very good way to start collecting this data, so that when we have to take the decision, all of this data is available. We also have a number of features. In fact, one of our customers had an issue with checkpoints where security guards were not checking trucks to see, if empty trucks were loading something and there was some pilferage going on and all of that stuff. Now all security guards kind of have a mobile device where they are able to kind of look at the checkpoints and take photographs and make sure that they have actually checked the presence of truck, right? Or rather the absence of any non in every truck, right? And it's very important that organizations have a command and control center where they are able to see all of this in real time on a dashboard, and that is also available with the platform. That way, supervisors and managers can see what is going wrong in real time and take a proactive decision. Because there is no point in detecting that a truck driver has spent 6 hours after he has left the facility, because we are already paying for those 6 hours, right? And that money or that notional expense has already been incurred. So we need to make sure that everything is monitored in real time and addressed proactively. In fact, a lot of our customers have large screens, large television screens, where they have the dashboard and they keep looking at it in real time. The moment something goes wrong, team of 3-4 people who get notified immediately, and whoever it is relevant to takes immediate action and solves the issue, right? And then there are a lot of processes going on, right? One of our customers handles about 400-500 truck movements on an average day, right? So all these compliances need to be checked automatically, right? And we need to make sure that that certain compliances are enabled, disabled, and available in a very, very configurable manner, right? So once a compliance is broken, it is also very important to manage it proactively. Right? Why did this happen? What is the root cause? And make sure that this doesn't happen again. So that kind of a facility is also available on the Insight platform. So these are some of our experiences, right? What we wanted to share with you is our learnings from working with customers on this. And I'm happy to answer any questions or queries. Or if you are interested in a deeper dive into our platform and the way it works and so on, we can always set up some time and take it offline, right? Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Very nice to have you all. Dheeraj, can we take some questions, please?
Yes. In the meanwhile, people while they type, I have a few questions that have popped up before. What are the different ways the data can be used? I mean, so the system collects a lot of data of the trucks inside. So can you just explain how can these operation managers use that data and how can it help them optimize the whole system?
Of course. So let us say we are collecting the entire location time series data, and let us say we are collecting IoT data from sensors and everything, right? So there are two categories in which data can be used, right? One is short-term gains, and the other is long-term analysis of long-term trends. Let's talk about short-term, right? As with the TITO example, right? If there is a truck that goes in, and after 2 hours, the vendor starts charging detention at 500 rupees per hour per truck, right? The moment we hit 2 hours, the meter starts running, right? So to speak. Now, let us say the truck has taken 4 hours to come out of the facility. Even though we have a gate in, gate out system, and we say that, 4 hours, this person has come out, you already paid for the additional 2 hours. So what would an organization like to do? They would like to proactively manage this, right? The way they would proactively manage this is make sure they set an alert for 1.5 hours, right? And then there are 30 minutes left. In that 30 minutes, what is it that we can do to facilitate this person? Like, where is this truck located? How many trucks are there in the dock? What is going on? Can we get some priority entry exit done so that we don't have to pay or lose that amount of money, which is in essence a penalty, right? So short-term proactive management can be done by using data. The other thing is analysis of trends. I touched upon this very briefly. Analysis of trends actually means, let us say you have 20 vendors. When it comes time to renew their contract, what are the metrics we are looking at to negotiate pricing? Are we even rating them on who is my best vendor, who is my worst vendor, who has the best productivity, who has the worst productivity, and so on, right? Long-term trend analysis, which upper management is generally interested in, to make sure that they are making data-driven decisions.
Great. Any questions from the audience? You can please let us know in the chat. We will unmute you. You can directly ask the question. So meanwhile, Arjun, I have this very interesting question. So can you give 2 or 3 examples of compliances for trucks? Just to some critical compliances, I would say.
Sure. This is a very good question, right? And see, the first compliance for a truck, which is very, very important, is the turnaround time, right? So you set a limit on the overall turnaround time. Now, you take it one level advanced, right? Because we are doing location with a very high degree of accuracy, right? So we are able to say when a truck is at the dock, waiting to get into the dock, and so on. Now, if a truck takes more than a certain amount of time in the dock area, that means there is something going wrong in the dock area, right? And someone, let us say, who is in charge of the dock area can kind of make sure that go and investigate what is going on, right? For example, a very simple rule could be trucks should not spend more than 45 minutes in dock area, right? Trucks should not spend more than 3 hours in the entire premise. Now, then come the other areas, right? Parking area. Okay, everyone is allowed to go into the parking area, but you go into the parking area and spend a maximum of 30 minutes, right? There are trucks which need to do multiple milk runs inside, right? They are supposed to be doing like, let us say, 30 milk runs in an 8-hour shift, right? Can we actually calculate the trip and make sure they do so many number of trips, right? All that is possible, right? Because we are collecting location time series data, and if a truck is supposed to be doing 30 milk run trips inside a facility, is it actually doing it or not? In fact, one of our customers is using this TITO to see how many round trips the truck is making from the manufacturing facility to the warehouse, and the warehouse is actually 60 kilometers away, right? They are trying to see the in-transit time, they are trying to see the time at the warehouse, and they are trying to optimize the time at the manufacturing facility also. So it becomes a very, very rounded kind of a solution to make sure that turnarounds are adhered to.
All right, great. So we have a question from Amit Kumar. The question is, how are we collecting the data?
Thank you, Amit. That's a great question. So what happens is we use this technology called BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy, and we assign a tag to every driver. The tag looks something like an ID card, right? And it's an ID card essentially issued to the driver. Now, the moment, let us say there is a truck with a number 1234, right? You assign this ID card to the truck driver, and then what happens is wherever the driver goes, everything related to that truck, be it license, insurance, registration number, pollution certificate, everything gets tied into that particular tag, right? And when the driver leaves, the tag is returned to the security. This is kind of like your visitor badge that you get when you go into a facility, right? Am I making sense?
Yeah, yeah. Great. All right. So let's start. Just one more question, and probably any other question from the audience. So, can this system be used for other moving assets, or is it just for trucks?
So there are a number of use cases we are solving, right? For like people tracking and asset tracking, like forklift tracking, finding material in a finished goods yard. For example, one of our customers is an auto manufacturer, and they have a large number of commercial vehicles in a yard, and they would like to find one particular vehicle. So searching for that particular vehicle and matching it with an invoice and dispatching it itself is a task, right? So we have a solution for that. So anything that is high value and moving can be tracked, right? Using this BLE technology, it is called real-time location systems. And we are working with hospitals to track their expensive medical equipment that goes from floor to floor. And this in addition to people tracking, right? People tracking is a major use case where you can answer a lot of questions like are my security guards patrolling the facility between 2 and 3 in the morning, right? How long is my general duty assistant in a hospital taking to get certain amount of medicine from the pharmacy, right? Or are they just saying they are going to the pharmacy and wasting half the shift? So all these questions can be answered by real-time asset location, and that's what we strive to do, right? So initially we had discussed the problem statement in operations, which is safety, productivity, compliance, and that is what we are trying to solve for.
Great. So, Arjun, we are getting some questions.
Sure. I cannot see them, so you have to read them out to me because I'm looking at my screen, right, which is the shared PPT.
Right. Amit is asking, how useful is it for the hospitality industry?
So, Amit, it's thank you. It's quite useful, especially in terms of security guard compliance, housekeeping compliance, right? So we are. Closest to the hospitality industry, we are working with a very large premium apartment complex outside of Gurgaon, in Delhi. So what they want to know is whether all the housekeeping staff are spending a certain amount of time in their assigned area, which is the washroom where they are supposed to be cleaning, or are they kind of going all around the place, right? They would like to know whether all the washrooms have been cleaned at certain intervals or not. And all this can be done by real-time location. And obviously, we cannot have CCTV cameras or anything in a washroom, right? So this is a very good use case for them. There is also the security use case, right, where you can see that whether the guards are all patrolling the facility. There is also the use case of, let us say you have a supervisor. And supervisor is supposed to go to these 5 areas every once in a shift. Today, we don't even know whether the supervisor is on site or not, right? And that is something that we try to solve with real-time location, right? So there are organizations where they make sure that safety personnel and emergency response personnel visit different areas at least twice in a shift, and if they don't visit, someone, their supervisor or their manager, gets notified.
Yeah, great. Naveen, yes, we'll be sharing the recording of the webinar. You don't have to worry. Probably by tomorrow, you will receive the recording. So Sudhir is asking, can the solution be used for CFS, where many containers are stacked and stationary for some time?
Sir, I need to know what is CFS. I'm not sure what is CFS.
Okay. Yeah. So meanwhile, Mr. Sudhir is typing. I'll ask the next question.
Sure.
Mr. Raja is asking, can this product uh, it can be tracked to trucks crossing RTO checkpoints that can save a lot of time and increase efficiency of the RTO, something like a fast tag?
Yes, sir. In theory, it can be done, but again, we haven't approached RTOs, or they haven't approached us for this kind of a solution. But this is something that we can keep in mind, and it's something that will be very beneficial to both, right?
Yes. So CFS means container freight station.
Okay, I understand now. So a lot of containers stacked, and this one. So we've had some early conversations with Chennai Port Trust, and they are looking for some kind of a mechanism where they can track containers very, very quickly, and those talks are kind of in the initial stages, and anything in a port and infrastructure, kind of, this one takes time, right? So that is one area that we are exploring. We don't have a use case right now, but we hope to have one very soon.
Great. Then we have a question again from Amit. How does the supervisor get notified? How the whole process works? What all is required?
So great. This is a great question, and thank you for asking. Right, because I kind of forgot to mention this. So we have multi-channel alerts, right? And all alerts are classified into different levels of severity, like low, medium, and high. If it is a low severity alert, you probably don't want to know about it immediately, right? You can have someone take a look at them once in a while, right, at all the low severity alerts, and resolve them. Medium and high severity, depending on your configuration, and every organization is different, every facility is different, we can configure for alerts to be sent by either email, by in-app notification on the mobile app, like a push notification, or even by SMS. Some of the highest severity alerts we send by SMS, because we don't know when somebody is there, whether they have a mobile data or not, and so on, right? So what we do is we have multi-channel, and we can configure all of this, right? If we want to optimize our SMS bill, we make sure that people get email alerts and people get mobile app alerts. So multi-channel alerting is available.
Great. We have the last question from Ashok Reddy.
Sure.
He's asking, how are real alerts intimated or tracked? I think you have already mentioned that.
But let's hear the question, right?
Yeah. And what about the tampering or other issues that may occur?
So yes, tampering is one of the things that comes up, right? See, the main kind of tampering that happens is when you're doing people tracking. When you're doing people tracking, the fellow will say, "Boss, I forgot my card, but I was there. You remember, I didn't take my card. It was on my table. I went and looked at every area that I was assigned to." Right, and the only way to solve this is by telling people that if you don't do it without your card, it doesn't count. And the other way is, if the card is stationary for more than a certain amount of time, we have an integration with accelerometer, right? Accelerometer is something that is used in our phones also to detect motion. If a card is stationary for more than 1 hour, that person and that person's manager can get to know that, hey, this guy has probably removed his card, right? So that is the most common use case when it comes to tampering, right? Other less common use cases are, let us say, I give my tag to my friend and tell him, boss, you go make one round and come, and both of us will say that both of us went and came back, right? And there are a number of ways we are solving this technologically, and one of them is actually by using heat maps, because if heat map coverage is exactly the same, then we need to see that there is some issue, right? So hope that answers your question.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much, Arjun. I think it was great. You answered the questions perfectly. I think people have got the solutions. And, we are available at info@suke.com. And my email ID is dij@suke.com, D-I-J, I'll just type it. You also must have received emails from my side. So do email me with any questions that you may have, or if you'd like to set up a demo with us, just let us know. I'm just an email away. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. It was
Thank
great.
you all, everybody. It was a pleasure speaking to you all. Thank you so much, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day, everybody. Take care.